start again. It's a redskin.
I have to take apart, or I had to take apart the rear bumper. Number one, so I can get this little vent back in the back end, you got to take off the whole bumper. And I took that apart and painted it, cleaned it up because it looked pretty nasty. And number two, there, something has died. I think it's a mouse in here. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, looks like a mouse. So yeah, I'm gonna have to, I got the wet vac and see if I could get the hose in there and suck out whatever's in there, because it smells really bad. That's the problem with living out in a rural area like I do. Mice just love to jump in cars and make nests inside glove compartments and storage areas and everywhere. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean out. This side looks pretty clean, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean out this other side. I had to rig something up to get it further in there because the pipe on the wet dry was too wide. But I think I got something. I hope I got them all, whatever it is. Yep, there's mice. A couple of them. Well, hopefully that takes care of that. God, it was smelling really bad. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I guess I'll just leave off the back bumper for now. I gotta get the bolts for that so I can finish bolting that up. And, oh, there was one more thing I had to do on the rear crash bar that was here. I don't know how many videos back, but when I made the crash bar and I put it in, some of the bolts didn't line up, so I made the bolts a little bit longer, or the holes a little bit bigger. And when I bolted it in, one side stripped and the other side stayed pretty good, but I'm gonna go ahead and get some like, I guess, mild steel or regular nuts to actually weld in the material that's on there, because at the moment there's only about 1/8 of an inch wall on that crash bar, and it wasn't enough to tighten it up all the way. So if I weld in some nuts and get some actual stainless steel bolts like these guys, I had the regular ones that were on there, but I'm going to go ahead and get some stainless steel ones like this just to make it look a little better, and so it'll bolt up really sturdy and solid. Starting to rain. And if you saw my last video, part 21, I had made the rear diffuser. So I came in today and cleaned out the first off, took out all the dead mice that were in there. That was just really bad. And then mounted this rear diffuser. So that's all ready to go. It's all solid in there, not going anywhere, hopefully. And also went ahead and fixed the rear crash bar and got the bolts to mount it better. And I started to put on this ARC intake. Now, I bought this on Honda Tech, on the for sale forum from somebody. I don't remember who it is. And I bought it as a EG intake box and tube. This is not for an EG. The pictures that I saw, this was actually kind of flipped around this way, the long way. And I mean, I like the way it looks like this, but it just doesn't fit. I'm going to have to make it fit because these boxes and intakes are really, really expensive and really hard to find in good shape. And like I say, I bought this, God, 11 years ago. And I've just been saving it because I knew I was going to use it one day. So what I'm going to have to do is get the guy that welded the bungs and the valve cover, Chesty's welding services. If you know him or if you're up in the Albuquerque area, you can look him up. He lives in Edgewood. He's a master welder, and I'm going to see if we can go ahead and cut this right here and then take a slice out of it about an inch, move it in so that this, see how this is sticking into the throttle body, move it back so that way there's an actual place to put the coupler, and then weld it so this is moved back to about right here, welded, then I can put the coupler in, and then make a bracket that goes in bolted right here down into there and lifts this up about 3/8 to half an inch, and it clears because of course it clears this area right here, and it's pretty, I already tried it, so yeah, it's gonna clear. But yeah, it's more custom work. So yeah, I mean, if you see, I know you see all these little nicks. I just did that, and back here and right there. I'm gonna have to get some touch-up paint and then just touch it up. God, it just bugs me when I do that. So I think it's ready to take over on Tuesday to get the windshield. And as you also just saw, I got the new windshield moldings, and they're going to put the top molding, and I'm hoping that they have the clips here, because that one actually came with the clips, which was pretty nice. And I was just looking through all my stuff, and I have some older clips that look like they're in good condition. So if he doesn't have them, I'm going to go ahead and take those older ones and, you know, kind of clean them up, and then I can use them. All right, so as I lay here on my back on this floor of the car, this was why I had to put in the headliner before I got the windshield in, because it has to go over the roll bar. So I had to basically slide it in through this opening, put it over the roll bar through the plastics that are on the top, because those had to be put in before I put in the roll cage as well. And you won't find any footage of me putting this headliner on or the material on the doors, because all of that footage was corrupted on the SD card. So yeah, can't do it anymore. I really contemplated on whether or not I wanted to put the headliner back in, because I had painted the roof and got it looking really nice. But I think with the bride seats, even though they don't have the gradient like this, I think they'll look good. Now, I am thinking of getting another pair of seats because I really wanted the Kevlar backed seats, you know, like this stuff. And originally I had purchased some, and then they called me back and said that they had already sold them, or they couldn't get them or whatever. So I just got a set of cheapo ones with the fiberglass backing. And I'm still wanting the Kevlar backed seats, and I can get them through Vivid Racing, and they're really, really expensive. So, but I don't know. You know, like people say, because race car, you know, it's like you just got to spend money to make something look nice, and that's what I'm doing. This guy is finally on. I actually, and I'll probably do it to the other side, is I sanded the outside with the 1000 grit sandpaper and then gave it a clear coat. And I also used a 3M glue, 2-part glue, used to actually hold on brackets to glass. Kind of, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a bracket inside there that's holding on to the glass, and they use that glue to stuff is really strong, and it costs a lot of money, but at this point I was like, whatever. You know, I mean, it was like, I've tried melting it, I tried super glue, I tried epoxy glue, and you know, I was like, all right. And you know, on the last video, Dinksy commented I should use, you know, a couple of glues, including that 3M stuff, and we must have been thinking the same thing, because you know, I just said, all right, I'm just going to do it. And you can still kind of see it through the visor, but I don't know if you can. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter now. I mean, you know, if you stand far away, you know, and far enough, you can't even tell. So I'm going to go ahead and this one's kind of dirty, but I'm going to clean it up, sand it with 1000 grit, give it a clear coat with that, it's just a spray can clear coat. And it, because I know I polished them up, but they still had some scratches on them, and I mean, with the clear coat on there now, makes it look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other side, and just kind of buttoning up a little bit of things before, you know, I got to put it on the trailer. That was another thing here. On the bottom of the transmission, there is a connection or a plug, and I have to, I can see it hanging down there. Yeah, right there. And it's really ugly anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off. And I'm going to put some the mesh loom over it, and then a new connection on the one side, because it has a rubber boot, and I found another boot that's a lot nicer, so I'm going to swap it out, put that in, and then tie it up, because it's kind of just hanging there. Alright, I did fix up that wire that was there, redid the loom, put the plastic piece on the bottom, reconnected it, and I did, as much as it pained my soul to cut this intake, this, you know, air intake, I had to do it, you know, to make it fit. And yeah, you know, cut a $800 in, you know, air intake is just insane. But hey, you got to do it. What I did was I actually took off about, let's see, I took off about an inch. So yeah, took that off of that piece, and this opening was actually flipped around, so it was further this way, and I kind of turned it upside down, and so it would push the whole intake back this way, and it fits perfect now. All I got to do is make a bracket that goes from one of these guys down into there and bolt it up, and then all I have to do is weld or get the air intake welded in that area that I got it cut, like right there, and it fits perfect. Hey guys, it's Tuesday morning, and I'm headed out to get the windshield installed. It's, I don't know, about 6 o'clock in the morning. I got the car loaded up yesterday, so it's ready to go. So I got to drive about 2 hours to go get this in. I know it seems a little over the top, maybe a little bit too excited to get just a windshield, but I guess you got to realize that it's been 10 years that this car has been sitting, and has, well, actually now 11 years, and it hasn't actually had a windshield in 10 years. So yeah, so this is like one of the moments that it kind of almost starts to tie everything together. And so yeah, I'm gonna go get this windshield put in, and I gotta come back, and hopefully there's some stuff in the mail for me today. I did order some parts last week, so hopefully it'll be in today. We'll see. Alright, so I just got back from getting the windshield put on. Everything seemed to go good. Now that I'm kind of looking at it, I didn't get a chance to look at it up close, but they seem to have broken one of the clips that came on the molding. I think I have another one at the house, but you know, I think that's about it. Everything else came on. But I got back today, and I had some stuff waiting for me. I got this molding to put on the visors. This one's obviously not long enough, but I didn't want to get a lot of it. I want to put it on first and see if it's going to actually work. It's, you know, I don't know if it's going to work or not. Otherwise, I'll just leave it off. Another thing that came in was these. These are the moldings for the doors, where the glass is on the outside. And I ordered these as well. The moldings on the pillars of the doors, and those I gotta find the bolts because or the screws actually. The one goes here, one there, and one there to hold it in place. And I should have them, but you know, they're probably inside all that stuff. And now these came in as well. These headlights I had originally wanted to get. I didn't want to go, well, I tell you what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go with the Jdm headlights because actually I already have a pair of the Jdm, and they're similar to looking like these, but they have the gray housing, and the outside is the lens itself is made out of plastic, and the ones that I have are, you know, chipped, and I'd have to sand them and polish them and then do the same thing I did with the visors. And then I got these corners. There's, you know, several different options that you can get for corners for the hatchback. I do have a set of Jdm clears, and I'm still on the fence of using those, but I ordered these just to see how they go, or how they look with the orange paint, because I also have a set of the Stanley side markers that go on the fenders, and those are orange. And so I'm still undecided whether cutting holes in the fenders to put those in, but we'll see after all these how these look. And while I was at it, and I probably should have done it, but I did it. I got me a new welder. This one supposedly will do aluminum with this guy. This is like an accessory you buy to use with this welder, and this welder can do aluminum. I figured, I've been asking people to weld aluminum for me for forever. You know, I know how to MIG weld, I know how to TIG weld, and I'm better at MIG welding than I am at TIG welding. This is kind of uses a spool of aluminum wire, just like a MIG welder. And now this guy, of course I got these at Harbor Freight, so they're a lot cheaper than the Lincolns and all the more high-end ones. But this was the top of the line when it comes to the welders that Harbor Freight carries. And I bought this guy. Usually this goes for around $220, $240. And this one had a sticker on it that said open box. And so she opened it up. She said everything's there except for the spool of aluminum wire that usually comes with it. And I noticed that there's some sticking out. And I opened up the end, or not opened up, but I looked at the end, and it looks like somebody actually had welded before and then returned it. But I want to try it right away to make sure it's going to work, because I got 5 days to try it out, and if it doesn't work, then I can return it. So yeah, I'm going to try this out right away, make sure it works on some scrap aluminum, and then practice, of course, before I try and do my cold air intake. All right, so I got it set up. Just tried it out, lowest setting, and these was what I was getting. Yeah, really ugly. And then I upped the setting, pretty high, and then I started getting these guys, and then I flipped it around and turned up the speed and on the wire feed, and lowered the amperage, and started getting these guys. And so then I left the amperage because the looked like penetration looked really good. And then I upped the speed of the wire, and no, I lowered the speed of the wire, and it came out to that, so that didn't look good at all. And then I kind of raised it up a little bit, got up to about right there. Still a little too hot. Lowered the amperage and got this guy. So, not exactly dimes, but I'm happy with that. And they're not as wide spread as these guys. And there's good penetration there, lots of material. So, you know, I'm going to keep on trying, and hopefully I can get the settings right. And this is actually only running on a 110 outlet. Usually when all of the aluminum machines that could weld aluminum, you had to be 210, and I don't have 210 anywhere in my shop. The only 210 I have at home is at the dryer, and of course I'd need a long extension cord for that. So, you know, the 110 is doing this. Looks really good, I think. Alright. So, this is all bolted in. The bracket I had to kind of trim down a little bit. As you can see, it lines up with the hole down at the bottom. And it's all tightened up. There's enough clearance now down at the bottom. And the hood closes without hitting. So, I would say that this intake is pretty much in. Yeah, getting that aluminum welder really helped out, or else I would still be waiting. So now I can do all the aluminum parts that I want or need for this car. All right, you know what time it is. My boy Showtime on eBay came through, got me the side moldings, as well as the clips for both sides, and a little something extra came in. Actually, a couple other things came in, but we'll get to that other box later. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead. I've already cleaned this up. I need to attach the molding with the double stick tape on the glass itself, and then I got some primerless urethane to go ahead and put on the pinch weld, or not actually on the pinch weld, but this area right here. Just goes all the way around, and then slap it in, tape it up, and leave it for a couple of days. Let that urethane cure, and all the glass and all the moldings will be complete. glass is on. Final pieces are done, except for the handprints and fingerprints on the inside, but I'll go ahead and wipe those off after the glue sets for a couple of days, as well as leave this tape on. Both sides, like I say, are done. So yeah, that's it for glass. This is something else. Who would have thought that a year ago, I believe, around this time, I pulled this out from that field over there where it sat for 9 or 10 years or so. So yeah, it's final piece of the glass is on. Now to this box. After going through several options, I decided to go with these. Some people won't like them, some people will, but I didn't want to go with the OEM with stuff. And these are a little bit more custom. You know, I had thought about going with the 50/50s, the clears and red. And if you could see all these little bugs, God, they're just eating me alive. And I even sprayed some of the bug spray on myself, and they just keep on attacking me. But these are the tail lights that I bought. Now they're 50/50s, but the top is smoked and the rest is red. So I'm going to throw these on and see how they look.